I'd like to do what will be the introduction for the show.
Great to use my audience, sorry.
Yeah, this is where you can really ham it up, folks. I'll do an introduction, and I need you to pretend that you're actually enthusiastic about it.
Remember, follow the slide says, especially at 9 a.m. on a Thursday.
Right, yeah, that's right. Okay, so here we go. Hello, and welcome to the Skeptic Zone, episode number 352 for the 19.July 2015, live from TAM 13. Thank you.
Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Yes, we're at the amazing meeting here. It's as I record this, it's Sunday morning of the amazing meeting. Wow, right down the end of this long corridor I'm walking, I can actually see James Randi himself at the information desk. Coming up on this week's show, we have an interviews with Susan Gerbic from Guerrilla Skepticism, Tim Farley from whatstheharm.net, and after the break with A Week in Science from the Royal Institution of Australia, we have Saunders from Carbon Dating, and we'll round off the episode with Jeff Wagg from the College of Curiosity. And look at this, it's Jay Novella walking past. Hey, how's town going, Jay?
Well, hello.
Hello.
Captain Saunders, how are you, my friend?
I'm well, I'm good. I'm busy today, of course, $1 Million Challenge tonight. How's your town been?
It's been awesome. We had such a good time. We talked to a lot of great people this year, and the new venue's great.
It's worked out pretty well, hasn't it?
It has.
And they made the new Del Mar bar down here, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, right. They converted a little conference room into the old Del Mar with pictures, and it was really awesome.
Pretty cool. Oh.
Have you met my wife?
Oh, how do you do? I'm Richard Saunders from Australia.
There. It's very nice to meet you.
You crazy kid.
This is Mrs. Captain Novella.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, she's a navigator.
I'll have to write you into the next episode, I think, and the kids too, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're there. You let us know.
Well, have a good rest of the day. I'll catch up with you later.
Tell the crew we said hi.
I will. Well, I'm going to head back to my table, my little information table for the Skeptic Zone now. On the way, I'm going to grab a coffee and a donut, and while I'm enjoying that, I hope you enjoy the Skeptic Zone. We are at the amazing meeting, TAM 13 in 2015, and I'm with Susan Gerbic from Guerrilla Skepticism. Whoop, there we go. And at the same time, Skeptic Zone listeners, we're periscoping live. So some of you may have already heard us and seen this interview as we were doing it live. As we record this, it's nearly midday on Thursday, the 16th today or something like that?
Oh, someone's just going to run down and grab a beer, Richard?
I might just do that. So Skeptic Zone listeners who are listening to this on the podcast, we are actually now interacting with people who are watching us live, and we can answer questions live as we go. So it's a little bit confusing. Susan Gerbic, hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Skeptic Zone.
I am so thrilled to be back on the Skeptic Zone, who's been so awesome to the GSOW project. One of the great reasons we are the force to be reckoned with is because of podcasts and supporters like those in the Skeptic Zone. We love you.
Now, for our Skeptic Zone listeners, who are our newer listeners, and for our Periscope viewers at the moment, what can you tell me about this interesting thing that you've involved with, the Guerrilla Skepticism?
Well, we believe that if you are going to change the world, we're going to have to get some really good information out there in a place to that people can find the answers to questions and citations that they can follow and actually learn about whatever the topic it is. Maybe it's homeopathy or facilitated communication or just who our spokespeople are. The Skeptic Zone people, all the fantastic work that's happening in Australia, the Northern Rivers vaccination supporters group.
Yep.
I might have just stumbled over their name.
No, that's the Northern Rivers vaccination
supporters. Yeah. We just wrote their Wikipedia page, and what we believe is that if we can get the information on the 6th most amazing website, which is the Wikipedia, then people will be able to find great information, and they can make their own mind up and find and discover the answers and so on. We're not telling them what to think, basically.
Yeah, but so you're here at the amazing meeting because it's just a good place to be and meet people. But you're here too and I'll be joining you with this because I'm very keen to hear what you're going to say, teaching people the process of editing Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm. We're finding that a lot of people are having trouble joining the GSOW project because there is quite a bit of training involved. We teach you how not only to edit like a Wikipedia editor does, but we're also teaching you how to do edits that are more in the mindset of a GSOW editor. We're trying to teach you a different kind of philosophy, a different way of doing it, still following the rules of Wikipedia, but it is a little bit different than a normal Wikipedia editor would be doing. But what we've discovered is we really need a lot of people editing Wikipedia, whether they join the GSOW project or not. And I'm finding that there's a lot of people who are just cannot make that first step to make the edit. They're really terrified to make their first edit.
I can understand that.
It is pretty intimidating, especially if you're not in a tech field, that kind of thing. We want people who are new.
A lot of people, I guess, would look at Wikipedia, but not necessarily realize you can actually modify it.
You can edit
put
it.
In edits.
So I'm going to be doing a workshop here on Sunday for anybody who brings their laptops, and we're going to have some real examples, and we're going to help make their first edits. 90 minutes is all I have, and it is going to be really, really hard to get a lot done in 90 minutes, but anybody who brings a laptop should be able to make real edits. And I'm hoping that will fuel their curiosity. They'll go on to be a little more confident and maybe make more edits and try to help us change the world. Because, somebody's asking us a question. What do they do if they edit wrong information? Well, it can be reverted with about 2 clicks. And we see this a lot with people who vandalize Wikipedia pages. We can go in and change that. And not just a GSOW editor, but anybody who is on Wikipedia at the moment can go in and change and edit. And that's not a problem. The beauty of Wikipedia is that things that are made, that are added, they're incorrect, they can be fixed very quickly. It's not like a printed encyclopedia. And it's a pretty easy process. It just works. Somehow or other, it's managed to work. I think we're on our 12th year Wikipedia is existing.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Only 12 years, 13 years, I think.
Right. You lose time on the internet, I think, when things come along. I mean, this Periscope that we're looking at right now, to me, it's very new, but I'm not sure how long it's been around, but I think it's going to get very popular.
Oh, I'm enjoying it.
I mean,
already.
this is a great little thing we're doing, and we can interact with people watching us live, and it's quite random because I guess you could say ahead of time, tune in. Oh, here's a question.
What is Wikipedia's opinion on concerted editors that do that, or they see it as trolling? No. The GSOW project is well-trained editors who are going in and making real edits that are usually done with a group of people looking at them before they're made live. And they welcome us. The other Wikipedia editors are all welcoming to our group, and they welcome the fact that we are bringing more editors in who have some kind of training and that kind of thing. So, we've been embraced completely by the Wikipedia community.
And you've had, the work you've been doing is remarkable. Now, what do you think is one of the highlights? Is it creating Wikipedia pages for worthwhile groups like the Northern Rivers vaccination supporters, or is it getting existing content up to date?
Well, it's a little bit of everything, and it's fun because we're able to do such a diverse group of things. One of the things we've been doing lately with GSOW is we spent 6 months working on anything that has to do with vaccinations, and we've been working on pages that are pro-vax, anti-vax, and we've also been taking pages for celebrities like Jenny McCarthy, Alicia Silverstone, Donald Trump, different people like that who have anti-vaccination views, and we're trying to make sure. We try to make. I'm going to get a little distracted because people are talking to me. That's really exciting.
It's interesting.
But the question was, what is better? Working on these pages.
Is it new stuff or is it?
It's a little of everything.
Modifying old stuff.
It depends on the kind of time you have. What is this all about for those who are just joining?
Okay. We're at the amazing meeting in Las Vegas. This is the annual meeting of the James Randi Educational Foundation. It's for science and skepticism and things like that. And I'm interviewing Susan Gerbic, who is from... I hope you can see that the right way. I'm not sure if you can see that reversed or not, but it's guerrillaskeptics.com. And what Susan does is help to bring Wikipedia up to date, make it factual, correct information, and create a Wikipedia for worthwhile causes and people.
Right. We focus on scientific skepticism. So all things paranormal, all things medical claims, not necessarily we wouldn't work on a Wikipedia page for a vaccine. I mean, I wouldn't want to go in and mess with the content on the measles vaccine or something like that. We would work on the Wikipedia pages for people who are speaking out and talking about vaccinations and why it's a good thing, or groups that are encouraging vaccinations, or the anti-vax pages, so that people can get good information about why these people believe this and what is the rationale, what are their arguments, and who they are and what kind of education and training they've had, because that's important information to get out there also.
So this interview that you're watching live now, those people on Periscope, will be on the Skeptic Zone podcast at skepticzone.tv. In the coming weeks, when I slot it in, I'm not very sure. I'm doing lots of interviews here at the amazing meeting. Thank you for watching. Yes, somebody's just saying, got to go. We'll catch up on the rest. Thank you very much. And it's right now, this is just a chance for me to try out some new technology as well. But yes, this interview is being recorded onto this microphone here and will be coming out on the skepticzone.tv. Well, Susan Gerbic, thank you very much for trying this new... This is the first live Skeptic Zone interview I've done. In fact.
This is great.
Using this technology.
I love it. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for watching. For the benefit of the people listening to this on the Skeptic Zone podcast.
And thank you for listening. And we love the Skeptic Zone. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you, Susan.
We just absolutely appreciate everything that you're doing. Keep it up, guys. And I'll be in Australia in October.
Oh, just to mention, yes, Susan's coming to the Australian Skeptics National Convention in Brisbane in October. So look forward to that.
Yeah, and I'm planning on going to some other places. I'm hopefully going to be speaking to areas in Tasmania, possibly New Zealand, Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne. Canberra. Any place anybody's going to let me sit and talk to you, I want to be there. So hopefully I'm going to hit a lot of other places and check us out. Eventually I'll have a schedule real soon, hopefully after this week, of where I'm going on what days.
All right. Well, from the amazing meeting at the moment, this is Richard Saunders and Susan Gerbic thanking you and signing off.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, this is Tim Farley. You probably know me from whatstheharm.net, a catalog of the real-world harm caused by lack of critical thinking. But that's not my only project. I present at Skeptic events. I post a daily Skeptic history fact on Twitter and Facebook. And I blog about using new techniques on the internet to advance skepticism. Come over to skeptools.com and check out my latest ideas. But first, enjoy the rest of the Skeptic Zone.
Yes, let's enjoy the rest of the Skeptic Zone, but first, it is live here at the amazing meeting, Tim Farley. Hello, Tim.
Hi, Richard. How are you?
I'm really well. I'm happy to be at the amazing meeting. It's been a great meeting so far.
It's been great, yeah.
This is the Saturday morning here, and it's sort of the calm before the storm. We're in the table area where the vendors and information tables are, and lots of people having breakfast, ready for a big day's conventioning.
Yeah, it's going to be a big day. We had a lot of Martin Gardner stuff yesterday.
We did, yeah.
And today we're going to have some Food Babe and some
lots of things.
Lots of other topics today.
Now, as Skeptic Zone listeners know, you are the guy behind What's the Harm.
That's right.
for the people who may not know, can you give them a little rundown of what that's all about?
Yeah, What's the Harm was an effort to kind of, why do we do this skeptic stuff? What is it all about? Is why is it important that we explain to people that ideas are incorrect or unscientific? And so I started collecting instances that could be documented where people got hurt. People relied on homeopathy and died, or got themselves hurt, or went to the hospital, or something like that. And I have a whole variety of topics: alternative medicine, relying on the advice of psychics, and stuff like that. And it's just something. It's not a website you'd spend a bunch of time on every day. But it's a resource that if somebody asks you that question, what's the harm? What's the harm in homeopathy? You say it's just water. You can go to the website and go to the homeopathy page and see some stories about people who really got hurt.
Yeah, and all sorts of things. All sorts of things from homeopathy. As you say, faith healing's in there.
Faith healing, yeah.
Yeah, chiropractic.
I have a bunch of chiropractic stories. I even have some feng shui stories.
Feng shui stories?
Yeah. People got in trouble with feng shui.
No.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be surprised. Now, I think I first heard about what'stheharm.net in 2008. Is that going there?
Yeah, that's about when I started it, yeah.
Because I would have originally met you, at this meeting or maybe Dragon Con way back then.
Right.
Something like that. Yeah. And so the site was going then. How has it changed over the years, or is it more of a case of just growing?
Just growing. A lot of what I do now is, people tend to use social media now, so I concentrate on posting new cases on the Twitter feed, which is What's the Harm. And there's a new case every day. And it's gotten to the point where I really don't have to do any research because everybody knows I'm the What's the Harm guy. So any skeptic sees a story that's appropriate, they send it to me.
I'm sure you get people sending you things from Australia.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it's the wonderful saying, because we hear it so often as being skeptics. People will put a point of view or a quack therapy or something. And they get to the point with almost agreeing that it doesn't work, but they'll then say, well, what's the harm?
Right.
Try it. What's the harm?
Yep.
And I guess that's what crossed your mind.
Yeah, it actually came out of this very meeting. The first skeptic conference that I attended was TAM5, and I saw it, and I enjoyed it, and I saw that there were a lot of people like me that weren't like famous authors or anything that were involved in this, and I thought, I should get involved in this, and I should come up with a project. And somehow over the next few months after TAM5, the idea of collecting these stories. Because what I noticed was if you typically see a story that's of a skeptical attitude toward one of these topics, they'll always start with an anecdote at the front of the story, and to kind of give it a human face. And I noticed that these anecdotes, but they'd always be one anecdote per story. And I thought, boy, it'd be interesting to collect all those people's names in one place. So you'd see that it's not just the one anecdote in the story. Many people are getting hurt by these things.
And how, if you could put a figure on it from when you sort of started and you got the original site together and the original stories, how many was that and how many are there now?
Oh, yeah, I haven't run the statistics lately, but yeah, I have hundreds and hundreds of cases. In fact, I'm in the process, and I've been long in the process of doing a complete revamp of how I gather the data.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to update. You know how websites kind of go through different styles, and the style of What's the Harm is kind of a little dated now. So I want to update it and make it a little more modern, and I'm going to kind of backfill a bunch of cases that I haven't gotten onto the site yet.
That's interesting. So you do rely on the huge worldwide skeptical community.
Oh, yeah.
Sending you bits of information.
Yeah, and I use, and aside from that, I use Google Alerts is a big part of my research.
Right.
Yeah, I spent a bunch of time, figuring out the exact query to kind of hit the right kind of story.
That's interesting.
And it's I have these elaborate queries of things like homeopathy and death or injury or hospital or...
Wow.
And so I have naturopathy, chiropractor, and stuff like that. And I get a lot of junk in those queries. like I get stories about chiropractors suing each other over who knows what, but that aren't really appropriate for the site. But every once in a while I find really interesting stories that way. But yeah, a lot of it is Mark Crislip from Science-Based Medicine sends me stuff that he runs across, and Dr. Raichi sometimes sends me things.
Right.
Everybody, knows I'm the What's the Harm guy, so it's funny when a story makes it big in the news, it almost gets annoying because everyone will send it to me. But I appreciate it because that way I don't miss it.
It's a good problem to have. Right?
Yeah, it's absolutely a good problem to have.
And as mentioned in your little promo, it's not only What's the Harm you do.
Oh, yeah, I do a bunch of different things. I have another Twitter feed called Skeptic History, where I try to collect interesting little tidbits from the history of skepticism and pseudoscience and paranormal, people's birthdays and events and things like that. Yesterday was the anniversary of the discovery of Martin Gardner's asteroid, which was an interesting coincidence because we were doing all that Martin Gardner programming at TAM. An asteroid was discovered on July 17th, 1980, that is now named Gardner for Martin Gardner.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah.
That's a good coincidence.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's Virtual Skeptics.
Virtual Skeptics, yeah. We do that. We do that every Wednesday. We do it live on Google Hangouts on Air, and it's a panel show, and it's kind of off the cuff, not quite as polished as this podcast, certainly, because we just do it live, and we talk about whatever's going on that week and have some fun with it. And it's since it's on Google Hangouts, it records automatically, so if you can't join us when it's on, I know it's not super convenient for Australians because it's on basically early in the morning on Thursday.
You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Virtual Skeptic crew to make a new promotion.
Yes.
And we'll put
Australian
in it with not only when it's broadcast, because we broadcast around the world. In fact, I'm going to get you to do every time zone on the planet. You can say. Well, maybe a couple, maybe 2 or 3, so people in different regions, especially.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, can know when to tune in because it's they can catch up with it. But of course, if it's live, it's more exciting and interesting.
It's fun, because you can ask questions, and we do a trivia question in it, and we announce who gets the trivia question during the show, and so it's fun. You can actually help shape the show by asking us questions. But if you can't catch it live, it's archived on YouTube, so you can watch it later. And we try to mark it up for topics, so you can search our feed if you want to see what topics we've talked about before.
That's pretty cool because only the other day, and as listeners probably know, because I probably ran the bit already, I was interviewing Susan Gerbic, and we were using Periscope.
Yeah.
At the same time, and people were texting in questions as I was interviewing her, and I haven't done that yet, and that was really interesting.
It is very interesting to do the live interaction. Yeah.
Well, Tim, great to see you once again here at the amazing meeting. What'stheharm.net, folks. That's the website to go to. It's fascinating, and it is the classic place to go to when people say, well, what's the harm?
Right, yep. And you can also, my sort of central place that I post a lot of stuff is skeptools.com. That's my blog.
Skeptools.com.
Right, so if there's anything else of mine you want to find, usually you can start there.
Okay. Tim Farley, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The cosmos is amazing.
World-famous astrophysicist Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson is touring Australia this August. Inspirational, smart and funny, he'll take you on his personal tour of the universe.
There are still more questions to be explored.
Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney and Canberra. Mark the date in your cosmic calendar for this once-in-a-lifetime experience. Tickets on sale now at thinkinc.org.au.
Welcome to A Week in Science from RiAus, bringing you the science you need to know. Mining the moon. It's a topic that comes up fairly regularly, the idea being that we can extract minerals from the moon. But is it really feasible? Let's look at some of the arguments. The idea to mine the moon and then bring the minerals back to Earth seems pretty unlikely. The major issue is just the sheer cost. To launch equipment from Earth into a low orbit costs around $20,000 per kilogram. Taking it to the moon would be even more expensive. And then you need to ship everything back from the moon. The cost would be far too high. One of the big arguments for mining the moon is the presence of helium-3, an isotope of helium which could be theoretically used in nuclear fusion reactors. However, the supplies on the moon are variable, with concentrations in the parts per billion range. Considerable areas would need to be mined to power just one city for a year. And just like fossil fuels on Earth, once you mine them, they're gone. So they're probably not a long-term solution. However, what if we use the minerals on the moon? That's one idea developing at the moment. Given the expense of launching things into space from Earth, there are proposals that future space exploration departs from the moon. That way, minerals mined on the moon could be refined and used right there, saving us from having to transport materials from Earth. This would mean building a base complete with factories and everything else needed to establish a lunar space industry. When it comes to mining the moon in the short term, I'm yet to be convinced. But look, as technology develops in the future, who knows what might happen? I'm really excited to find out. And now, 4 fast facts about minerals on the moon. The Apollo moon program brought back around 380 kilograms of moon rocks. These revealed much about the geology and formation of the moon. Technology developed for mining on Earth is wildly unsuited for mining the low-gravity moon. A complete rethink of mining technology and techniques will be required. Tranquilityite, a mineral previously only ever found on the moon, was recently also discovered in the Western Australian outback. Another possibility is converting moon ice into hydrogen and oxygen, which can then be used as rocket fuel at kind of a lunar petrol station. This seems the most realistic in the short term. That's it for this week in science. For more information on mining the moon, go to the RiAus website, riaus.org.au. Follow us on Twitter at RiAus and like us on Facebook. I'm Ben Lewis, and we'll catch you next week.
Well, we're still here at the amazing meeting in Las Vegas at the Tropicana Hotel. That's going very well so far. I think I've snuck away here to the press room, and along the way I've gathered up Kyle Saunders. Hello, Kyle.
Hey, good to see you again.
Thank you. Now, we met 2 years ago at the amazing meeting, I think.
That was my first one. Mm-hmm.
Is that when you launched Carbon Dating? And we have the book right here.
2 years later, it's our first full-color collection, and it's kind of the coming full circle back to TAM with the finished product.
It's carboncomic.com, folks, to check this out. And for those people who may not know, what can you tell them about the comic strip and the book, now Carbon Dating?
So it's a comic strip here in the U.S. It's usually in the back of our Skeptical Inquirer, and it's also translated for those of you in Germany for the German Skeptic magazine. But it's a comic strip about a group of friends and their various irrational ideas that everybody has, you know. So the main character is a science writer and has to address all of these various things that come up with his friends over time. And, of course, there's the romantic interest as well, so a little bit of something for everybody.
And, I see, it's normally 3 panels, but you've got a couple that are 1 panel. Do you normally stick to the 3-panel rule?
I do. I stick to the 3-panel. I feel like it's very easy to write for, and a good setup that I try to stick to. But occasionally I'll shake it up for, especially a special occasion. And I see in the back of the book here too, we've got some. What have we got? The debunking handbook, right? Straight from Australia.
Yeah,
yep. So in the book I talk a lot about how difficult it is to talk to your friends about these things without causing the backfire effect. And I wanted something at the end, kind of a positive, here are some good tools to use for not causing that, not ruining the dinner party, so to speak.
That's fantastic. It's pages and pages of logical thinking and debunking and examples.
All backed up by cognitive research out of Queensland University. So
So it's good for Australians.
There you go.
Of course. So, skeptic.com/carbon-comic, or as we mentioned before, the website. Oh, I've just lost it. The website is
carboncomic.com.
That's right. Now, tell me something about the process of doing a comics, because I've done a couple in my time for fun. I've written, did panels and tried to think of what are the characters going to say and how am I going to make it funny and all the rest of it. What's your process?
Well, I usually take a topic that is frustrating me at the moment, and try to really figure out what about that is aggravating me. Come up with a punchline by taking that to an extreme, and starting with the punchline, work backwards, kind of the setup in the second panel and then some background in the first panel. And that pretty much rounds out the comic writing process. And once I've written it, then I kind of assign characters to it, like which character would say that. And then, or which characters would be funniest in this argument.
Yeah, and how many? What's your cast of characters? I suppose you can just
got about 5 main characters.
Yeah, you can bring up new characters as you wish, I guess.
Actually, the new characters that I do bring up are usually supporters of the comic strip, either Kickstarter or
that's nice.
Patreon supporters. Yeah. At a certain level, they get drawn in as a character.
They get drawn in.
Yeah. So that's fun. So you'll see some random cameos of people you may know from TAM. Many of them are in the comic. So that's pretty great.
There's a dog in there somewhere, I just noticed.
Oh, yeah. Yes, well, there's plenty of homeopathic pet remedies out there to talk about, too. So
that's you've got your own style, of course, and it's interesting to see it in colour.
Yes, we recolored a lot of old comics, so this is...
And it's a very similar palette throughout.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a very set palette, haven't you?
Last TAM, when we talked last, I was launching a Kickstarter, which was successful. It allowed me to hire an artist, and she came and knows how to do color, so we were able to do color from then on, and we, for a few months, with that money from the Kickstarter, did 5 comics a week every weekday, which is quite a pace. We did that for a few months until the money ran out, but that's pretty much where this book came from, was the support we got at TAM last year.
Really? Mm-hmm. Really? That's fantastic. So over the 2 years, it's just 2 years you've been really doing it.
Right.
So, because I keep track of you from TAM to TAM.
Right.
More or less.
Yeah, the first year was solo. I was writing and drawing black and white.
I remember, yeah. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I think I interviewed you at the... If my memory serves, we even stepped outside.
Yeah, out in the desert heat, tried to record. Yeah.
For some reason, maybe it was because it was noisy inside.
Yeah, that was the only.
I do remember stepping outside. We were roasting hot, and I was interviewing you.
That's right. Yeah, but so the first year was solo, black and white, and then we hired Elisa, my artist, and we've been working together since then. And I think it looks just fundamentally better since when I started out. So I'm very happy about the color and having her expertise.
Yeah, and it's a good book. It's a nice, solid, good-looking book, and again, the color selection I think suits it very well with the debunking handbook in the back. And there are many comics in here,
and guest articles as well. I some skeptics friends of mine, I had them write some guest articles of their various expertise. So there are some different topics that I dive into. I try to explain, really get into the background with on the website. Every time I discuss a topic in the comic, I have referenced commentary and further reading and all sorts of things to go with it.
So the website, folks, again, is carboncomic.com, and you would still, I'm sure, appreciate lots of people visiting the site and helping you out.
Oh, yeah, and everything's free online, of course, and Creative Commons, so feel free to put it wherever you like. But
how can people get the book?
It'll be just came out 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
Off the boat. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It will be available online for sale here once I send out the copies to all the Kickstarter supporters first. So
fair enough.
They'll get it first, but in a few weeks it'll be available for everybody.
But I guess the message is keep an eye on the website, and then people can see the details about the book. Fantastic. Well, Carl, good for you for keeping at it. And we can see the results right here. Good to see you at TAM, and maybe we'll see you again next year.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
weird sound, folks. It could only mean one thing. The College of Curiosity and Jeff Wagg. Hello, Jeff.
Hello. Thank you, Richard, for having me here today.
We're here at the amazing meeting, and it's great to see you here. Last time I saw you, I was making sure you were boarding your cruise.
That's right.
In Sydney. When was that? March?
Sydney, that was in May. Yes, we were leaving for the islands of New Caledonia.
How was that?
That was unbelievable. We found a cave behind a church.
Not a church behind a cave.
No, they said go to the cave behind the church, and we go down. It's a cenote, and then you go into a cave, and you jump into this 30-foot pool of clear water. And then when we got back and I researched it, it had all this crazy history where they found nautilus shells in there, but it was fresh water. And the nautilus shells lived there when it was salt water, and there was an uplifting, and then the fresh water killed all the nautilus shells on the same day, and they carbon dated them, and they knew that they had died 600 and something years ago. It was a fabulous trip.
But apart from that, how was it?
It was okay.
I had the pleasure of joining you, and I think we probably mentioned this on the Skeptic Zone. In fact, when I met you way back in 2007...
I think that's right. In Alaska.
In Alaska.
Well, we met in Vancouver.
Vancouver?
Yes.
And that's where we boarded the ship. It was the amazing adventure north to Alaska with James Randi.
That's correct.
You were on the cruise. Your mum and dad?
That's right.
Were on the cruise?
Yep. We had 90 people on that cruise.
Wow. And that's the first time I met many people who are still my good friends. So those cruises were really good.
There's some bond that happens when you travel with people that doesn't happen any other way.
Naomi Baker,
yes.
I met for the first time. Kitty, I met for the first time.
Kitty was there.
So a lot of people. So let's talk about why you're here and a bit more about the College of Curiosity and some of the curiosity or curious things that you've brought along here today for the interview. Well, we started off with this strange sound at the beginning of the interview. What's that all about?
This sound here. So this is an instrument, and visually you probably can't imagine what this looks like. But it's a square of wire with a handle, and hanging off of that square is a flat piece of metal that bends. And on either side of that metal are these two mallets. And when they hit the metal, I can bend it and change the tone. This instrument, it's a musical instrument. It was used in the jazz movement of the 30s. It's called a flexagong. A flexagong. And you have heard this before, probably in cartoons, but famously in the movie The Shining. This is the sound that's used to indicate there are ghosts. And
that's why my association, when I heard it first, somewhere in the back of my mind, I was thinking ghosts.
Yes, it is a ghost noise, but it was actually originally invented to be used as just part of a jazz set, be a percussion instrument, and someone would pick it up to add a little flavor to the number.
Let's hear it again. That's too good. What else do we have here?
Well, we have a couple of other ones. This one here you may have heard before, and this is an interesting thing. You cannot see this, I know, but it's a tube with a duck on it.
It is.
So what might a tube with a duck on it sound like? Well, this.
Strangely enough,
it sounds like a duck. Yeah. It's a duck call. Not the most interesting thing in the world, but cast yourselves back to 1920s radio, when radio was live and drama was what happened in the evenings on radio. And they needed to make their own sound effects. So it would be something like this. It was a dark and stormy night. And so what you're hearing is not thunder. It is a thunder tube. This is made by the Remo Corporation, famous drum company.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. It's like it's a tube.
Yeah.
With the opening at one end, and out the other end is a long bit of curly, springy type wire.
Kind of like the spring you'd find at the top of a screen door, maybe. And it shakes a membrane through the tube and sounds sort of vaguely like thunder.
Let me do that again. Oh, yeah, I'm getting all those lovely residual sounds.
Yeah, now, so some of those residual sounds are interesting because the movie Star Wars used them. So, you hear that sound? Or
that was a Star Wars sound.
Yeah, so here's a better version.
And this is a very simple object, folks. I can't tell you. It really is a tube with a bit of springy metal coming out the end.
One of the things that made Star Wars special were the sound effects, and the sound effects team looked for organic things to make sounds from. And this isn't exactly what they used, but it's the same principle.
Yeah.
They used a very long wire, and they hit it with a hammer, and it would make the laser bolts from the stormtroopers.
Oh,
Ow!
Yes, I've shot Richard. It's all right. He'll be all right because I'm a stormtrooper and I couldn't hit
You often
him.
shock me. I don't.
Here's a very, very simple thing that people have possibly heard many, many times. Well, let's do this. And this, of course, is a slide whistle. It's the same principle as a trombone, actually, except with a trombone, you start with a sound like this.
Yeah, we know.
But with this, you start with a whistle.
A whistle.
And it's just a tube with a variable plunger in it.
The cavity in there is varied, and the vibrate. Yeah, the frequencies. Yeah.
But this is often it's often used to show somebody going up and down a ladder or falling down or something like that.
That's right. Nice sound effect. Though.
All right, now this one is my favorite.
And you'll have to do that over there.
Yeah, it's pretty loud. So let's see.
He's walking to the other side of the room. All right. One more time over there. Wow, come back. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. What would that be used for?
So, this was a percussion instrument also from the jazz movement. It is called a vibraslap. It's called a vibraslap. But it was invented it has a very strange story.
Yep.
Originally, there was another instrument that they used to make that sound, and it was a jawbone of a donkey or a zebra. So imagine this. You take the jaw of a donkey or zebra, let it dry out, let all the tissue go away, and the teeth are still in the jaw, but they're loose and they rattle. And you tap the straw with a drumstick or something like that, and it makes that noise you just heard. So why do we have this new thing that's called a vibraslap? Because it's a bone. Jawbones are fragile, and if you travel with one, they'll break. So these bands are on gigs, they get to the gig, and they don't have the jawbone because it's broken. So they invented an artificial jawbone, and it's called the vibraslap. And you have to Google vibraslap to see what this thing looks like. It's pretty hard to describe. But it's basically metal teeth vibrating on a piece of wood that's attached to a piece of wire that acts as the slap part.
It's amazing. And its shape is quite interesting. I can't hardly know how to describe the basic shape of it. But now, lastly, the curiosities you brought this morning, and I might have to turn the gain down on the microphone a little bit. What's this?
I'm going to start this because this sound takes a long time to finish. So, what you're listening to is called Euler's disc. Euler was a mathematician, and what we have is a parabolic mirror, very slight parabola, and on it I have tipped over what is essentially a stainless steel hockey puck, although it's half the width of a hockey puck. Very heavy. But the mirror is very smooth, and the puck is very smooth and has beveled edges. So if you've ever dropped a quarter on the sidewalk and it's spun around, that's what's happening here. But unlike the quarter, this will keep going.
And
it gets faster and faster and faster because there's very little friction and there's a whole lot of potential energy in the heavy metal object.
Wow.
And I love that sound.
Wow. Let me just the last little bit again. Just like that?
Yeah, a little twist, but very little.
That's satisfying somehow.
It's a lovely sound, a completely useless device. This is not a musical instrument. I don't even think it's been used as a sound effect.
And the disc itself, folks, that's quite heavy.
It's very heavy. And that's when I do this demonstration for people, which is why I'm at TAM. I have a table of unusual objects that I'm demonstrating, trying to increase curiosity with adults. It's a non-intuitive thing because everyone's seen a quarter drop and they know it only lasts a little while, but they don't know the math behind it. Quarters don't have that much potential energy, but this really heavy disc, and that weighs a few pounds, maybe a pound and a half, has enough energy that it'll keep going. And up to 2 minutes on ideal conditions that will spin. And it goes 10,000 RPMs near the end.
That's a good...
you can do it in kilos.
Third of a kilo or something like that. It's a little hard to judge, but it's weighty.
You wouldn't want to get hit in the head with it.
No, and it's about the same size as a hockey puck. And those listeners who don't know what a hockey puck is, just Google that. I know what a hockey puck is, having grown up a little bit in Canada. I certainly do, but there you go. Jeff, wow, it's the College of Curiosity is aptly named, I must say. And your adventures sound adventurous. How can people find out more?
Well, we're at the collegeofcuriosity.com. We're also at Facebook as, strangely enough, College of Curiosity. And we're on Instagram and Twitter and all those things. And just come to the website and you'll find us.
So that's the message, folks. That's the clue. Hook up with the College of Curiosity. Jeff Wagg, please take us out.
Hey, Heidi.
Oh, hi, Joe.
Hi, Heidi.
Oh, hi, Maynard.
Hi, Maynard.
Oh, hi, Joe.
Nice day in this park, yeah?
Yes, great weather.
Oh, look, a unicorn.
A unicorn? There are no such things as unicorns, silly.
Yes, there are.
No, there isn't.
Hey, ladies, what are you arguing about?
Joe thinks unicorns are real.
They so are.
Let's look this up in the Skeptic's Dictionary.
The what?
How can we do that in this park? There are no computers here.
You ladies probably don't know about the Skeptic's Dictionary app, available now for iPhone, iPad and iPod Touch in the App Store.
Yeah, we do. We've been listening to the Skeptic Zone for years, you know.
Yes, okay. The app lets you access all the great Skeptic's Dictionary articles when you're on the go. Here, let me look up unicorns.
Oh, cool. Heidi, prepare to be proven wrong.
It says here the unicorn is a creature from fables.
Aha!
Actually, I see now that someone just dumped their ice cream cone on that horse's head.
Thanks, Skeptic Dictionary iPhone app.
That's just some guy in his undies.
Thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone, and Mr. Randi, thank you very much for another wonderful convention.
Who is this? It's a paparazzi coming at me with a fuzzy microphone.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Have you had a good time, sir?
I've had a good time and a good time.
Both?
Both. At the same time, yes. How do you do that? I can't explain it to you. It's a complicated art. But I must say that last night's tribute rather embarrassed me to a certain extent. And I don't embarrass easily.
No, you don't. No, I can vouch for that.
I'm immune to that sort of thing. But no, it was a hell of an evening, and I'm very happy to have lived long enough to see this and have that tribute offered to me. And yes, I'm quite excited over it.
It was not only was it a moving tribute, it was a very entertaining show, I thought.
Oh, yes. Oh, God. Yes. And Marvin Minsky.
Yeah.
Wow, he must be 100 years of age. And I'm composing a letter right now to send to, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. All sorts of people wishing you well and congratulating you.
Yes.
Well, I'll let you enjoy the rest of today, the last day of TAM, and we look forward to the $1 Million Challenge this evening.
Thank you so much.
And thank you.
Bye.
And thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone this week, my friends. And until next time, this is Richard Saunders signing off from Las Vegas, Nevada. You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast. Visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for contacts, an archive of all episodes since 2008, and our online store. Please support the Skeptic Zone by following us on Twitter @SkepticZone, liking us on Facebook, and leaving a review on iTunes. You can also show your support by subscribing via PayPal for as little as 99 cents a week. The Skeptic Zone is an independent production. The views and opinions expressed on the Skeptic Zone are not necessarily those of Australian Skeptics Inc. or any other skeptical organisation.